Second-generation KTM electric Enduro can go the distance. When KTM took its first stab at electric off-road bikes, it came up with what can be best described as expansive toys. With the second-generation Freeride E-XC, the Austrian manufacturer adds 50% more battery juice for more practical range, and rounds it off with race-proven suspension. Stefan Pierer, KTM CEO and majority shareholder, is more than just a successful Austrian industrialist. From his position as president of the European Association of Motorcycle Manufacturers, he knows well that electric mobility is set to boom in the next decade. His company hopped on the battery-powered train several years ago, with the first Freeride model hitting the market in 2012. Despite it being as well-designed and enjoyable as any typical KTM off-roader, its limited range made it look more like a rich boy's toy than an actual alternative to the company's similarly priced petrol bikes. The Freeride family started off with a non-road legal motocross model, before expanding to include Enduro and Supermoto versions. The motocrosser only needed to provide racetrack fun for a limited time, but the later arrivals could take to the streets, meaning that only offering up to an hour of riding weighed down heavily on their practicality. For 2018, KTM has announced a new 260V lithium-ion power pack with 50% more capacity, jumping from 2.6 to 3.9 kWh. This translates to equally more range, so the new Freeride E-XC can be ridden for roughly up to an hour and a half, obviously depending on a number of factors, such as terrain, rider weight and riding style. In comparison to the previous generation of Freeride batteries, charging time hasn't changed, requiring 80 minutes for a full charge and 50 minutes to reach 80%. The liquid-cooled, permanent magnet, synchronous motor is still as first introduced. Its rated power is 9 kilowatts, 12 horsepower, under the limit of Europe's A1 novice driving license, but it can peak at 18 kilowatts, 24.5 horsepower, and its torque output reads a constant 42 Newton-meters, 31 pounds to foot. KTM says that it worked on the motor's thermal stability, with new insulating pads between the stickers and the waterproof aluminum casing. As before, there are 3 selectable power modes: Economy, Enduro, and Cross, and a Freeride novelty in the shape of regenerative braking. One other change that will probably make the Freeride E-XC more desirable is its new suspension. KTM opted for the WP Split series, with a set of 43mm inverted split-action forks, compression adjustment on one leg, rebound on the other, and a PDS rear shock. An upgrade over the previous model, this setup shares similar parts to those used in the rest of KTM's range, though still not the beefier and heavier 48mm split forks of the E-XC Enduros.